Radio Rahim with Shawn Porter. I know we always talk about whether it's Showtime Shawn Porter or Shawn Showtime Porter, but what we know is Showtime is around the corner. You talked about being on the precipice. That was a word that stuck out to me because it always feels like you're right there at being discussed as the elite level fighter that people see you facing. How difficult is it to have that moniker on you, like the guy who doesn't win the big one?
You got to win the big one. And, I've been in some very big fights, some close decisions that I've lost. And so, yeah, it's very important for me to win this fight for a number of reasons. The fact that he is regarded as one of the number one guys in the world, if not the top guy in the world, it's enough for me to put all of my heart and energy and everything that I got into preparation and into the fight, understanding that I'm not doing this just to put on a great show. The great show's great. The moral victory was cool against Errol Spence Jr., but it's not enough. I'm a winner. I love to win. I have to beat him.
It's arguably said that you keep having tougher opponents, and yet if you can't get over the opponents that you've had in the past, if this guy is either the 1 or 2 in pound for pound, how can you beat him?
Yeah, well, you know what? You take a look at me as a fighter. I'm a very versatile fighter. Even in the close fights that I've lost, you saw me do a whole lot in those fights. And you saw the guys that I lost those fights to, except for Kell Brook. I think that fight was a little bit more, I came, straight ahead with that one. But anyway, I think that I caused those other fighters to make adjustments, caused those other fighters to hold on for their life. And by holding on for their life, I think that judges saw things their way. This is another fight where Terence is gonna have to hold on for dear life. I think Terence does the right things at the right moments, and I think that makes this a great fight. How do you beat this guy if you can't beat the other guys? Gotta win the judges. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do the right things to win the judges, and I'm gonna do the right things to beat Terence Crawford.
You've made your name as an analyst as well.
Yeah.
If you could somehow have an outside of body experience and look at Shawn Porter objectively as an analyst, people feel like, well, we know what Shawn's going to do. It's not disrespect, but you're a pressure fighter, you're going to be in his chest. Well, Crawford knows that as well.
Yeah.
If that hasn't been successful in the past in getting you over, do you expect to surprise him? Should you surprise him with a bit different than what he's expecting?
You know what? Let's be clear, because even the 2 out of the 3 fights that I lost, I mean, you can really amount those losses to 1 or 2 punches in 1 or 2 rounds that separates me from winning and losing that fight. So it's not multiple rounds that I've lost against those other guys, and it was never me getting beat down by any of those guys that I've been in the ring with that I've lost to. You can't expect Terence Crawford to come in the ring and beat me down. Make it clear that in order to beat me, that's what he's going to have to do. But we've never seen that before. So he's saying, hey, it's 1 or 2 punches here and there. I'll make those adjustments. I'll do the right things at the right times. I will beat Terence Crawford.
And lastly, for Terence's sake, they say, well, he's obviously number 1 or 2, but his resume doesn't have nearly the names on it that yours does. Do you believe that he's 1 or 2 at the pound for pound? And if he hasn't faced guys like you face, maybe those fights you've been in give you an advantage, even if you didn't win them coming into the ring. Play that matchup out for me.
You know what? I'm not crazy about pound for pound. I really don't like the conversation because it is subjective. But for me, I don't look at resume when I consider pound for pound. I look at how you perform, how you get down. He's one of the most dominant fighters in the world beyond Canelo Alvarez. And so with that being said, yeah, I do. If I do have to put him on the list, he's definitely in the top 5, and I would even put him top 2. So I think that for me, only thing I take away from his resume is he hasn't had all of the experiences that I've had. And with that being said, experiences is sometimes key in life. It's key in the ring. It's key in sports in general. I think it's going to be a big key in this fight.
How do you break down a fighter that has that kind of confidence?
You do things that he's not used to. I think once he gets touched up a little bit more than he's used to, I think that's when he starts to get broken down.
Radio Rahim with Showtime, Shawn Porter. Always a pleasure. Good luck on November 20th here in Las Vegas. Showtime, Shawn Porter and Terence Bud Crawford.